It was an amazing truck. Don't get me wrong. I loved using it and I used it like a truck and it was wonderful until it broke down. But that was my specific truck issue. And it seems like the quality has gone way up with the new trucks and now the price has gone way down.
All right, Matt, Tom, the Tesla Cybertruck now has a new variant, the cheapest model, starting at the very, very low price of $59,990. And that is for a dual motor all-wheel drive, which is, I think this is pretty big deal, especially when we compare it to a lot of the other EV trucks in the market. We saw the rear-wheel drive Tesla Cybertruck. That kind of didn't do so well. That got taken off the market in September. But Tesla's coming back with a cheaper, even cheaper variant of the Tesla Cybertruck. What do you guys think? I'll start with Matt.
Yeah, I was saying as many of the viewers know, I just purchased what is now the premium all-wheel drive in July. And I will say, I would have much preferred to purchase this new variant of the Cybertruck. Just going through the features. You mentioned the rear-wheel drive. That was a $70,000 truck. And, half the power, no tonneau cover, no bed outlets, same suspension as the newer model, no air suspension, less premium audio, cloth seats. I'm sure there's some other features I'm missing, but that was $10,000 more than this. So I think, we've been kind of asking for this, like just looking at the Cybertruck over the last year, it did not perform very well, versus what the expectation was for the truck. And I feel like if they came out with this a year ago, it may have been a totally different story. I think what you're getting with this new variant is pretty incredible. And like for $20,000 less, I think it's kind of worth like looking through like what are we missing out on really? The main things, between the premium model and this new one, no air suspension, right? So keep that in mind. But other than that, you're still getting power tonneau cover. You're still getting powered frunk, right? You're still getting all of like the premium features that were missing in the rear wheel. I think it's just an insane price point. And as you're saying, like very competitive with what's available, on the market now for other electric trucks. It's kind of about time Tesla did something. So I'm pleased to see it. And in Tesla fashion, just random announcement on a Thursday night, right? It's just, here we go, new model, right? Okay. It's pretty cool to see.
Hey guys, sorry to crash your party, but I saw y'all were recording and figured I'd chime in because I totally agree with everything Matt said so far. This seems like one hell of a value, and honestly, Cybertruck needed it. Both Matt and I, well, Matt owns a Cybertruck. I used to own a Cybertruck. They were quite expensive vehicles. Mine was $120,000 for a Founders Edition or Founders Series tri-motor version. And, that was a lot of money for a truck that honestly had some pretty big capability issues in terms of range and charging. It was an amazing truck. Don't get me wrong. I loved using it and I used it like a truck and it was wonderful until it broke down. But that was my specific truck issue. And it seems like the quality has gone way up with the new trucks and now the price has gone way down and you still get pretty good. What is the tow rating actually on this? Do we know?
75.
Okay, so that's 200 pounds less than Rivian R1T base, about the same. So you get 7,500 pound towing. I wish it was 10,000 pounds. That would have been awesome to see it go up there. But you can still tow a car to the racetrack with this, 7,500 pounds, and the price point seems amazing. So I didn't mean to crash your live stream, but I saw y'all were on, and I just wanted to share, like, you know what? We've been hard on the Cybertruck on this channel over the years. I mean, we all have shared issues with them. This deserves quite a bit of praise. This is a really good price point and a really good feature set.
Yeah, I mean, I
100%.
think it's finally entered the segment of like maybe actually being a work truck that's like at a good price point, has the correct features. It just such a departure from the rear wheel model in many different ways, and $10,000 cheaper. It's just it's pretty incredible. If you look at the comparison of the features, like I don't know, for me personally, I like I said, I would have purchased this model truck over. I didn't want the rear wheel. Like there was so much stripped down, and also like this being the same performance, same battery pack as far as I know, same all-wheel drive system, all of those features that I was looking for when I was making the decision. The rear wheel drive just like wasn't going to do it for me. But if I was going to spend that much money, I wanted a little more premium. So I think we finally kind of entered the correct price point for this segment. It took a little too much time to happen. And I think back, like I remember when the original announcements came out for the truck. I mean, I think we were looking at like 40, 50, $60,000 were like the trim levels, right? Back then. And it was quite a departure. And we had a pandemic and everything else through all that, but right. But finally, I feel like this is like we finally have some justification now for this truck. It's pretty incredible.
Hey Tom, do you mind if I throw my screen up there really quick? Because I just pulled up the actual specs on this thing, and I don't think you guys have gone through this yet, right?
I did a little bit beforehand.
Okay, I guess I just went through it just looking, and you can see that the weight difference is very close. So it really is like, okay, the premium's got just a little bit more. It's probably it's 100 pounds basically. It's probably air suspension, wheels and tires, and maybe that's it. The other thing is you can see the overall height of the vehicle is identical, which means they probably set the air or the non-air suspension height to the standard ride height profile of the normal one, which I think is the correct thing to do. These
Yeah,
wheels are pretty bad, but you can option the like sort of also pretty bad core wheels, and so
these are
we,
my
we
favorite wheels. I'm sorry.
oh, I'm so sorry. Uh, Also, let's just take a look here at charging speed. 132 miles added in 15 minutes. This would be 137 miles added in 15 minutes. That makes no sense to me. So, based off of this data, Tesla is saying that the dual motor non premium is less efficient than the premium model. So, is it possible that going with that wheel and tire, that 18-inch wheel and tire, is less efficient than the 20-inch wheel and tire? Because that's what this would indicate. In 15 minutes of charging, assuming it's the same battery and same charging curve, you're adding 132 miles versus 137 on this one right here. What do you guys think about that?
Is there I haven't owned a Cybertruck, but I know my R1S drops suspension down for highway driving. Does the air suspension version of Cybertruck do that?
Yes, it does. And that's probably where the difference is coming from.
Yep, that's what I imagine.
Yep. Well, I'll leave it to you guys. I just want to pop in and like steal the show for a second and be like, holy smokes, Tesla freaking did something great. They needed to do something great for the first time in a while.
I know, it took them long
And
enough.
yeah, I mean, oh, wow, great stuff. So, anyway, I got to run, but I'll see you guys later. Good luck with the show.
Awesome. Thanks for hopping in.
Thanks, Kyle. And he's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah,
nice.
the other thing to note, we were chatting about this. I just was looking through like designing one and whatnot, and something I was not eligible for in Massachusetts was this $7,500 EV tax credit or rebate, state rebate, um, for the all-wheel drive model because they changed the qualifications at some point a couple of years ago where like you have to include destination. So it's under $79,000 or it's under $80,000 in Massachusetts. And the destination like bumped it up to 81. So I was ineligible for the state rebate. But now you can get in Massachusetts a $7,500 rebate on the new model here, which makes it even more attractive. I don't know about other um, state rebates. We'll have to just take a look, and if you're a viewer here and you kind of know what's going on in your state in terms of EV truck rebates specifically. In Massachusetts, it's a whole different tier of the state rebate. So it's still available now, even with the tax credit gone. So I mean, just makes this even more, interesting and affordable for folks. So yeah, pretty wild news. I wish again this this was the case over the summer before tax credit ended, just to
Yeah.
push the
Yeah.
Cybertruck along. And but I think Tesla does eventually listen to people and makes adjustments. It just tends to come a little later than we would like necessarily. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because to that point, like it's a cheaper truck, but it also has a lot less trade offs than that rear wheel drive did.
Right.
Like I'm scrolling through the compare models thing here, and we looked at range, and everything. We looked at towing. You get the same 4.1 second 0 to 60 as the premium all wheel drive, so same powertrain. You don't lose that. Power is one of my biggest things. It looks like you still lose the two 120s inside, but you still have the two 120s in the bed and the 240 in the bed, which I believe rear wheel drive didn't have for some reason. Like you can only export power through the charge port or something,
Right.
or USB-C, which was really stupid. This is great, and so I use the 240 in my Lightning like every day, and so that's something very important to me. Steer by wire and four wheel steering is on all of them. Rear wheel drive didn't have that, I believe. Four wheel steering does exist here, which is nice. Bidirectional power share that stays there. Everything looks like everything autonomy wise stays the same across the trims. Speakers are downgraded, so it's back down to a 7 speaker set versus the 15 speaker. One of the best sound systems in the industry, actually, in the Cybertruck. This probably bumps down the same level as like a rear wheel drive 3, maybe, or Y. I did some comparisons between the two last summer on the Bits channel. If you guys want to look at that, in the bed you lose the L tracks apparently, but you still have the motorized tonneau cover.
Right.
Right,
So
which is huge. I mean,
yeah,
that's why I couldn't even imagine in the rear wheel just not having that available.
yeah. And I remember seeing a Reddit post of someone who literally like one of the 3 buyers who got one, and when they discontinued it, they also discontinued accessories. So
Right.
he's like,
Right.
I can't buy a tonneau now, so he just has an open, just bare bed
Yeah.
he can't cover, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
terrible because
Yeah.
they
I
suck.
feel bad for those that bought a rear wheel drive. Yeah, for the 3 of you
Yeah,
that
if you're
have
watching,
bought
my
it.
condolences.
Right. I mean, it's just been a couple months, and I think this tweet here from Sawyer like really shows how big of a difference. But 350 miles of range. It was rear wheel drive, a little more efficient, so you did get more range. But a 6.2 second 0 to 60. You know, there were a lot of things that were dumbed down in the rear wheel drive for a much higher price than what we see in the dual motor all wheel drive non premium Cybertruck. And it's a dual motor. And it's crazy what in a few months Tesla has been able to do. And I'm really curious to know what has happened for them to want to reduce the price in the Cybertruck so much. One thing I do want to point out is compared to 2024, in 2025, Cybertruck sales were down about 50%. And so this will likely be something that really pushes the Tesla Cybertruck to the point of getting even more sales, because when you compare against the R1T dual standard and the entry Silverado EV and the Sierra EV from GMC, which all have pretty good, especially the Silverado EV, much better starting price, comparable range. This kind of puts the Cybertruck in a bit of the same realm, which is just going to boost sales.
100%, and you're not losing range like you would normally for like a standard battery, like
Right.
everyone thought it would be. Like even Lightning, rest in peace. The Lightning was, XLT was in that price range, and it was a standard pack. Base R1T is a standard pack. These are long range Cybertruck, which is very good. For a short period of time, Lightning was also extended range all across the board before they shut it off. And at that same price point, my Flash was 55 thanks to tax credit and incentives. And so this really puts it into that price category where people who are cross shopping it between Lightning and Silverado and R1T, it actually is becoming a decent value proposition, which it basically never was for a long time, unless you're just going for a premium truck.
Right.
Now it's just this could be kind of their mass market trim, which I think they needed because they were not selling many at all for years.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Tom. I think it's finally kind of entered, this competitive space. Although, we can't underestimate the fact that it still is like the edgiest electric pickup truck on the market.
Yes.
So I mean, we'll see. It's an acquired taste. It's been as an owner, like it's been real enjoyable. I love getting in it every day. I love like doing work and hanging out and just it's just I for someone who commutes a lot, like I originally didn't think like I'd be able to do it in the truck as much, but it's one of the most comfortable vehicles I've ever driven. So I'm all for more Cybertruck recognition because you can't judge a book by its cover, as we know. So I think it's just great, and yeah, we'll see what happens over the coming months. I'm curious to see if there's any other real. There's something about there being a premium center console versus the. I don't know. We'll have to see like if they redesigned or reconfigured the interior of the cabin slightly. In
I know
this
it did lose the
model.
rear screen.
Yeah, I think it does. It still have rear? I think it still has. I'd have to look.
Yeah,
Um,
interior, no ventilated seats in the front.
yeah,
So
no vented seats, but like, it's like okay, what are we losing for $20,000? 7 speakers,
mhm.
vented seats, and air suspension.
Air
Right.
suspension,
Right.
So,
110s inside. Not like it's fine, really. Not a lot of trade
yeah,
offs like that last.
I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Like, if they do any adjustment on the pricing for the premium and the beast at some point too, because it seems like a real insane price difference between the three models at this point, especially between the premium and the regular dual motor now. I'd be curious to see if there's some other price adjustments on the middle trim, which is the premium now.
Yep.
But they didn't announce anything. It's been this price point for quite a long time. So yeah, we'll see.
Mm,
It's come a long way from Foundation series, it's
it sure has.
which is great to see. So yeah, so here it is, our breaking Cybertruck news. Yeah, thanks
Mhm.
Isaiah and Tom and Kyle as well for joining us this evening. Appreciate it.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think about this. If you're in the market, probably a good time. If you just bought one, like Matt, sorry.
It's funny when I originally saw it on the post on X, whatever. I didn't realize it was a new model. I thought they just like cut all the pricing. So I feel a little better about my
Yeah,
$20,000.
silver
feel a little
lining.
bit better about my decision. But yeah.